My cabbages! Low, man. Oh, my cabbages! Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
What's up, everybody? It is your boy, Andrew Esquire, and this is The Legal Mindset, where we teach you, yes, you at home, to be your own judge. It is a lovely Friday evening here in Asia, and I'm coming to you live once again. We're back, especially after the long Songkran holiday here in Thailand, to give you some Somali. There's some Somali updates, some things to talk about. Off a couple topics here which are pretty interesting, and to keep us really focused and narrowed as we go into a season which may be relatively quiet over the next coming weeks leading up to his next trial date, because yes, we have a trial date in May, which is now under a month away, and we're going to have things that are going to happen in that next month, including possible delays, possible new charges. So we're going to talk about that today, and how some of this drama is a little bit distracting from the important thing that is really under scrutiny here today. Of course, I am your host, bringing you everything on the Ramzi Khalid Ismail. That is the Johnny Somali saga. And I am loving every minute of the fact that now the words, the letters, the acronym RKI is so well known on the internet that people can just say RKI, and you now know exactly who RKI is. That is glorious. It's great to be here with you guys today as everybody piles in. Thank you for the support. Everybody who supported the Somali Conviction team, thank you so much, and who supported my streaming, whether it's through memberships, super chats, going over to the Ko-Fi and supporting, or whatever you've ever done that. Thank you so much. The biggest thing you can do is to like and share the content, which always helps out this channel and has been helping us reach millions of people. I have reached more people in these last 2 months. We're talking the last month and this month than over the history of my YouTube channel in terms of overall averages, numbers. It's been fantastic getting the word out on nuisance streamers, particularly Johnny Somali. We've also covered Vitaly over there in the Philippines, but we are changing things and we are pushing things towards a better future over here in Asia without these nuisance streamers, or with the nuisance streamers facing the punishment they dearly deserve. And we also have an update on I guess one new nuisance streamer who I'm going to be keeping my eye on because I imagine there might be some trouble for this kid ahead as well. But thank you everybody who's in here. Also, thank you the supporter. I don't want to dox you, but thank you to whoever submitted the new clip. This is a really great one. I will definitely be using this one. Let me play it one more time, because when I first started, only like 300 of you were here. But this is a great one.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
I have to get that one into a longer, a longer break roll, but that is absolutely great. Thank you so much for that. Great clip. I always love it when I get good clips. You guys are amazing and create great RKI content. Also, this is one which someone sent to me, which it's not really a meme. It's like a real truth here. But somebody emailed me this, and this is so true about nuisance streamers. I once asked a wise man, "Tell me, sir, in which field could I make a great career?" He said with a smile, "Be a good human being. There's a lot of opportunity in this area and very little competition." And that's a kind of a wholesome meme, but very much true in the area of nuisance streaming. It is so easy to make this type of content. It's so easy to make people mad. and get people to know who you are. But that is a very short-sighted window, and you will quickly find out if you are messing around using that strategy. So thank you for whoever sent over that one. That one is very good as well. And mwah, chef's kiss to the clip creator. Let me get all these memberships first. First of all, Shadow 91869 with 10 legal mindset memberships. Alexis Artemis Green Howard the first. Yes, the first, not the second or third, the first. And we've got Dave with 20 legal mindset memberships, and Unhinged Valkyrie with 10 legal mindset memberships. We're already up there, already breaking numbers, pushing 50, just starting off, especially with Zyphertef joining as well. And Frozen Angel here as a member for 2 months. Thank you guys very much. And you know what they do whenever they see me getting these memberships.
You are coping the seething.
There's also a little bit of
Emotional damage.
So once again, thank you to everyone, Dave, Unhinged Valkyrie, thank you, Zephyr, thank you, Alexis, and Shadow. Thank you guys very, very much for that, for supporting the channel. It is much appreciated. Also, DJ Case coming in with 10. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you received those, please say thank you to the people who gave those out. It is very kind and gives you access to the emojis and all sorts of other fun stuff, including members, exclusive streams. Patrick Elza says, Leighton Ricada, given the legal golden shower. Thank you very much. Johnny will much be coping about the hitting the goal. We will have a Ricada stream once the sentencing is down. So once we know what he is sentenced with, we'll do a kind of a retrospective over the whole thing, which will be fun. I look forward to doing that. So stick around for that. It's kind of the end of that era. Mercenary 21 says, I see the title. Did the inevitable happen to Johnny? We're going to talk about that. So Johnny is we're going to talk about the death of Johnny Somali, because that is actually something that came up the last week. Neko Girl 862 for 5 says, I don't know if you like Nightmare Before Christmas. I do. I grew up on that. My mom loved that movie. She played it like 100 times. I've seen that movie back and front many, many times. But if you are, my book suggestion for you is The Pumpkin Queen. I found it a very good read. Thank you. I will check that out. Sue6900 for 10 says, what better way to kick off a weekend and racing at Rockingham than with a legal mindset stream? Thank you. Appreciate that. Sue Ryobi said, I guess I have no choice. The Midas stream shall commence during Good Friday. And happy Good Friday out there. Happy Holy Week. I hope you all have a very blessed week with your families, your friends, with your communities. Be safe out there. Practice some compassion and show some goodness. You know, this is a week to show some goodness in the world and show that there is goodness in the world. And I think that applies to everybody. And that's irregardless, even if you're religious. It's a good time to just be kind and be nice. Tank Imperator for 10 says, speaking of reaching people, fun story on Thursday, my coxswain caught me watching you and asked me if there's an update on RKI. You are being followed by the COC of a Canadian worship. That is awesome. Hold on. You know what Johnny is thinking when he hears that.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
That's hilarious. Thomas Anderson for 1999 says, been seeing this a lot more since Sly Kane and Ramsey. Do not dox. FAFO applies mostly to nuisance streamers, but doesn't apply exclusively to them. Don't go after the families or romantic partners. And that is absolutely a rule. I will tell you this. If you engage in any of that behavior in my chat, Danielle, my head mod, and my other mods, JP, everybody else, you will be banned, right? Especially do not go after people's families or friends or whatever. Now, criminals are criminals, and criminals are subject to the scrutiny of the public. They should be. And that is the key to public interest, is if somebody has committed a crime, the public deserves to know that and deserves to be covered. But that is the crime of the criminal. Like the sin of the son is not the sin of the father, right? The sin of the daughter is not the sin of the mother, or their wife or girlfriend or whatever else, boyfriend, whatever. That's not their thing. So I am very much of the camp of not getting people's family involved. You know, if people ask me certain questions, I'll answer them very directly. I think the main time family ever comes up in relation to these things would be something like with Somali, when people talk about, what's his background, his family background. But I've been very careful not to do that and to not get those people involved, because it's not really their burden that their child or whatever else is causing problems. So I'm very much of that mind. I agree. Vlox gifted 50 legal mindset membership.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Thank you. Very based Vlogs. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Thank you. That is awesome. Appreciate being back and covering this with you guys. Patrick Elsa said, happy Good Friday. Thank you. Masero Palma says, let the white whale hunters seethe. Humanity is doomed, period. For 50 Philippine peso says, Kamusta, legal? Glad to watch the live stream. Thank you. Welcome. Mercer says, I like the old Cope and Seethe. New, not so much. Well, we can play the OG. We can play the OG. Don't worry. It's still there. I still have it. Mazrova also dropped 50. Thank you. Also, my based mod JP coming in with 5. Dark Canister becoming a new member. And Scarlet Court dropping 5 as well. And then let's not forget King Lugia. He is a king, dropping 1 as well. James Beeching, Good Friday. A great book is Marabou Stork Night Mage will haunt you forever. I will look that out. It's been a while since I've been haunted by a book. Nest Dog says you should have Stephen He to record emotional damage for your soundboard. If I can make that happen, that would be epic. If I can get in contact with that guy and have a custom emotional damage, that would be great. Ewu Inu says Vitali's daily Vittles tax. Actually, that's too much for Vitali. Warden Nova, who says, hi from the Philippines. Hey, I look forward to being there in like a week or so. Hey from the Philippines. Love your work you're doing to prevent nuisance streamers. I do too. I do not want them here. I have been having a lovely holiday here in Thailand over the last week. I saw no nuisance streamers. It was lovely. It's great. I want to keep it that way. It's perfect. Margie Malfoy gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships, and I'm here for the scuff with another 10. Thank you guys so much. Yes. Xylee gets sassy, says, I trust nothing, RKI, unless you say it, as you should. As you should. Tank Imperator for 10 Canadian says, sung to the tune of Dixieland. I wish I can't do that. I can't keep tuned to that. But I wish I was in the land of cabbage with kimchi pots and Justice Savage. Chop away, chop away, chop away. Kimchi land. Stream away, stream away, stream away. RKI. That is very good. If I could sing that, I would. But my voice for karaoke is questionable at best. That's going to have to be a members only stream when we do karaoke. Lewis Galley for 5 says, with Easter this weekend, everyone should watch a nice bunny movie called Watership Down. That is not, you are an evil man. You are an evil man for suggesting Watership Down. Michael Rua for $5.99 says that new clip reminds me of a 90s commercial break. And that's why I love it, because I'm a 90s kid. I grew up in the 90s mostly. Mighty for 2 Singapore says, shout out from Vietnam. I'm on holiday. Well, enjoy it. Are you in Ho Chi Minh or Da Nang or Hanoi? Enjoy it. I enjoyed my time in Vietnam. Great food, great people. It's fun times. Chris VF for 10 says, I wonder if the Easter Bunny is going to drop off new charges for our cat. I hope so. We're going to get to that. And last, Alexis Artemis Green Howard I says, unrelated question. Did they deport the American woman from UIA? I think you mean the UAE. I'm not positive. I think she might have been deported, but I have to double check on that one. And also Val for 2 said, happy 420 weekend. Stay mellow. There we go. All right. Oh wait, I think somebody said Ho Chi Minh. Okay, cool. We'll enjoy it. Okay, let's get to a new nuisance streamer. So this is a kid. I think he's called Sigma Boy or Streckbruder or something like that. But this is in Japan, and I cover people that I'm watching, and who have the potential to be the next RKI or the next, the next Vitali. This guy is in Japan now, and he's not just carrying around a speaker. He is carrying around, like, this is a massive party-sized speaker and going around in public places and loudly playing music. So let's play this so you guys can hear what this guy is doing. And I'm not sure whether that's copyrighted music, but so I'll kill it right there. But you guys can see pulling it out full blast in the station. This is literally in one of the biggest stations and on one of the biggest lines in Japan, coming out, dancing, and then back flipping, right? This is exactly what they tell you not to do, exactly what they tell you is prohibited. So I'm going to keep my eye on this kid. Extremely cringe content. If you did it in a park, if you did it in a place where they allow music, it's whatever, right? If you did it in a place where everybody's playing music, it's okay. But on the Yamanote line, and those of my brothers and sisters in Japan who've been to Japan know the Yamanote line. That is the central circular loop around Tokyo. It's the busiest line in Tokyo. You should not be doing that. You should not be doing that. So keep my eye on that kid. He may end up another Johnny Somali in Japan and with other things. So I'm going to keep an eye on that kid. Once again, I think it's important to document these people so that authorities know who they can keep an eye on, potentially arrest, potentially ban from the country. And thank you to the streamers, actually the viewers, who sent me a list of some of the nuisance streamers, because it might be helpful to start circulating these lists to the authorities so they know who to keep an eye on when they come into the country. Also, hail Az. I see Danielle caught Az in the chat. I'll see if I can get his. It's moving too fast. So there we go. There we go. Heels versus Babyface says, let them all poke the bear and see what happens. Yeah. And the thing is, as what they're doing is they're poking the bear at a time when the bear is arresting people. Right. So they're not just coming and doing this at a time when everything's quiet and settled down. They're doing this during the trial of Johnny Somali, while Vitaly is arrested in the Philippines, while a bunch of the kick streamers effectively got ran out of Japan. DBR, one of them, had a criminal complaint filed against him and fled. Other streamers got into physical altercations, fights, and they fled. They had to physically flee. Some of them are criminals who lied on their visa entry work. They said they were not criminals. They entered the country what is illegally, essentially, because they should have disclosed their criminal history to get in those countries. So it's not a good time to be coming to Japan and messing around. Although on the other hand, Japan does have to look to the Philippines, look to other countries and say, hey, we're going to take that same tact versus nuisance streamers and stop being so nice. It will help tourism. It will not hurt tourism. So that is my thoughts on that. Lorraine Ballon, welcome as a new member. Giancarlo on Oz says, I'm going to visit my home country, the Philippines. Wish me luck on the hot weather. It is hot from what I hear in my friends in Manila, or wherever you are, but the Philippines is really hot right now, especially during Holy Week. So please be safe. At least you have air conditioning. That is something that the nuisance streamer Vitaly does not have. So be thankful. Gary Lee for $4.99 says, Korea and Japan will need to be tough on the disrespectful IRL streamers. Philippines earned my respect with Vitaly, but losing mine with Sly Kane. You know, at least they got the primary person. I mean, I understand associates are harder to get to. And also, that individual is changing his hair color. He's wearing a hat. He's staying out of Manila. He's hiding in the provinces. So, this is a situation where, associates who can be liable, are trying to stay out of the limelight for a little while, trying to play it down low. But eventually all of them need to be roped in because they need to see that this behavior and enabling is not going to be tolerated. Asian Dragon also says for $4.99, why would people think the USA influenced by playing loud music and harassing people's content? I don't know, because even in the USA, you might get in an altercation over that. This is a good question. Brian asks, who do you think will get more time, RKI or Vitaly? Ooh, I think here's my thing. Vitaly is guaranteed to get a good amount of time. He's going to get at least 3 years because that's how long he's got to wait for trial. And then on top of that, he's going to get some time. I guarantee it, at least a couple years. So I think Vitaly is guaranteed to get a good amount. RKI can range. He could get a small amount or he could get a pretty large amount. So RKI is like this broad variable, but Vitaly is already locked in. So I got to put my money as a lawyer who's risk adverse. Vitaly is a sure thing. So I would put my money on Vitaly, but don't count Somali out. He's still got a chance to pull ahead, if you will. Okay, so let's start with the Discord drama. So essentially, in case you guys don't know, there is a Johnny Somali Discord, which by all reports is relatively dead and boring. I mean, there really isn't anything going on in it. The most exciting that Discord gets is when I stream, which is kind of crazy. It really is a nothing burger. Other than that, it's really boring. But that said, there was a shakeup over the last week. It happened a couple days ago, and in that, there was a mass deleting in the Discord. A lot of channels were deleted, people were booted, and you can see that this is a screenshot from inside the staff section of the Discord. So this is the staff chat. You can see that up here. That's the actual staff chat. This was not the general chat. So this was at the higher level of permissions. And on this, you can see at this point, especially down here, let's zoom in here. So you can see Zen Mr. Owl, who says, what the hell is going on? Why is everything getting deleted? Right. And then asking Omar, who tagged himself as Illegal Mindset, which I find funny, what is going on? Why delete the chats? And then Omar, Illegal Mindset, said, I'm a spy. Right. So allegedly, this person went through who was a quote unquote spy and started deleting chats. And there were, I have several different stories at first that they were going to create a new Discord and they were going to have all sorts of new rules and protocols and all sorts of stuff. But it turns out, nope, the same Discord's still there. The same people are still there. Everybody who's feeding me information is still there. So none of the people that are my quote unquote spies are booted out. All of my spies are all still there. But it was a kind of kerfuffle that happened during the week. And a lot of people were wondering, well, why is that, right? Is it because they're really hunting spies? And what I wanted to get to is no, it's actually probably not anything to do with that. And it's probably just some internal drama. You've got to remember, guys, that the average age of these people that are involved in this is very young. Discord is essentially, especially Johnny's Discord, is a bunch of kids, right? This is a bunch of children on Discord messing around. And even the adults generally have the attention span and patience of a child, or, you know, if you in alternative of a child, perhaps some sort of primitive ape. These people are not very smart. They are not very mature. And they just like to create drama for drama's sake because Johnny's not streaming. He's kind of gone dark. He's hiding out. And there's a reason for that. The reason is that the seriousness of the charges that I revealed that are pressed against him are getting out there to the Korean public, and it is bad. And Johnny is out of legal money. He is begging for legal funds. And this fight against these very serious charges is going to be really bad for him. He said things that are very, very, very controversial, especially with certain problems in Korea. And one that was picked up by one of the Korean channels, and this is a great channel that covers a lot of this and translates it into Korean, was his comments about the women in the police force. Johnny made a comment that he was going to SA, and I'm not going to say the word, it rhymes with grape, right? He was going to SA Korean female police officers. That is a huge issue. If that was said in Korean, he would definitely get some extra heat for that one and possibly extra charges just for that statement of saying that he was going to assault female police officers. Remember, he made similar statements in Israel as well when he was talking to a female police officer. So that is something that the Koreans picked up on. Once again, they said that statement specifically is a huge hot button issue. And mind you, as I revealed on my big bombshell stream, the prosecutor in the Eastern District is a woman, right? Many of the people working on this case, the police officers are women, right? He is making these sexist statements and these sexual threats in an environment which he should not be doing, especially since the charges he's facing are sexual in nature. He was investigated by the Women and Juvenile Crimes Division. And let's go back to our trusty dusty PowerPoint, because of course, you know, I like it, but let's look at these charges that he's facing that right now the police are receiving additional evidence on. And Johnny is trying to, you know, once again, this Discord is distracting us from these very serious charges that are being added to his case file. Deepfakes, those are sexual in nature. Those are some of which are directed at a woman. Some of them are directed at men. They're also sexual, but some of them are directed at women. That's a huge thing. Obstruction of business. Part of that obstruction of business at Lotte World, which is essentially the Korean Disney World. Those were sexual. There were sexual acts said. He knew he was going around children. He was excited about it. And then, of course, we have the CSH. I'm not gonna say it. You guys have eyes and you can read it off my PowerPoint. That is a very serious charge, which he is being investigated for right now. and they are considering adding that to the docket. So it's really a distraction. And beyond that, there's been further evidence added in about his history with targeting children. And it is a really problematic history. So I'm going to play this 2-minute video here after I read out some memberships, because there's some giant memberships here that I need to acknowledge. But this video that I'm about to play is massively bad for him and shows he has a history intentionally targeting kids and intentionally going into children's spaces with the state of mind of we're going to act disgusting around children. It's not an inadvertent statement and not something where you didn't see there was a kid behind you and you're having a conversation at a restaurant. It's going into a space where you know it's primarily children and saying vile, nasty things that are sexual in nature. But what is not nasty is 50 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much for that. I deeply, deeply appreciate that.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Thank you, Mazurova Palma. Mazurova Palma also writes for, he's been a member for 14 months. He is quite an idiot. The female police officers could easily beat him up and are getting reasons too. Yes, and they're getting reasons to not go easy on him in the prosecution. Derp says catching up at 2x speed. Suffer Ramsey. Mr. Alex says, I was showing Kirkling's video on Johnny Somali to people in New Zealand. The response was, if Johnny Somali goes to New Zealand, he will not only be beaten up, he will be hospitalized. There are many people who are daring him to come to their country, and it would look bad. Also, Tank Rat gifted 50 Legal Mindset memberships.
Emotional damage.
Thank you for that over there in the UAE. I hope you're doing well over there in the Middle East. Staying cool, staying frosty. Thank you so much, Stancraft, for the support. I appreciate it very much. Also, Mazrul Palma says, bit more yellow, get the gold. Thank you. We got the maximum coping and seething. Thank you guys for that so much. You know what Ramsey is saying right now.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
Thank you guys. Ryobi says Asian hate tourism now because it's disruptive. And if people say it's a public place, the law in Japan says you need permission to film and photo. Yes, it is. That is Japanese law. It is why local Japanese streams usually blur and hide the faces. The only difference is they need to get quicker about stopping foreign streamers that do not do this. They don't. Mercenary said, do they not see what's happening to their fellow nuisance streamers? Do they not know or actively ignore it? Or are they dumb enough to think they can get away with it? They think they can get away with it. And to be fair, to be honest with you guys, some of them are getting away with it and they shouldn't be. And they do need to get better at it. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of that crew that was in Japan and Korea should have been arrested. A lot of that crew that was in Japan and Korea and they fled after 100 days, they should have been arrested. They should have been put in jail. They committed multiple crimes, right? There was many opportunities to put them in jail. They should have. I think we need to go towards more of a Philippines model. I'm more on the Philippines boat. Let's just nip it in the bud. And I guarantee you see that people won't be coming there. I guarantee you for the Philippines, the same folks won't be going there. S. Rivera says, hello, greetings from Portugal. Thank you for presenting a professional perspective and calling attention to these awful cases. I hope you're giving yourself a break when you need it. You're more than earned it. Thanks. I took a week break almost for the Songkran holiday. That's the Thai New Year. It's also a water festival here. I had a wonderful time. Thank you guys for being patient. I'm glad we still get 5,000 people on the channel. Usually when you stop streaming, YouTube punishes you, but it's glad to see we still have our audience here. And also shout out to all the creators in the audience as well. I appreciate you guys. And you always have my permission to clip, react, and view my content anytime. Katayoko as a new member, thank you. And then I'll read this last one and we'll go. A Noni Moose for $4.99 says, can't wait for his comeuppance. I agree. Okay, let's see this video. This is one, and this was shared by Johnny Somali on X, so credit to him for sharing this. But this is a video about what Johnny Somali and his friend, his buddy Trell, who is a moderator in his Discord, and one of the people that was, having to clean up after this drama, right? Deleting channels, deleting chats. This is what they were doing on Roblox. This is absolutely vile. Let me play this. I've got to mute the music for a little bit because that music is copyrighted. And, well, we get enough copyright strikes in this channel. We get enough copyright strikes in this channel all the time. This you'll see is absolutely factual information. So here's the witness.
Don't even know how scandalous
Johnny Somali is.
One more time, brother. Sorry.
How scandalous he is. Even before Johnny Somali, like, he had a Roblox server where it was predominantly sub 14-year-olds, like 13, 12, 11, 10-year-olds in Discord. He just started spamming black cocks and black gay porn in this Discord.
Spamming pornographic material in a community that is mostly children. So once again, it's a history of doing this stuff. Going to Lotte World and doing this wasn't his first time. And you saw how excited he was to do it. When he went to Lotte World and he was spamming those sexual text-to-speech messages, once again, he knew people were going to play them. He knew they were happening. They were happening the whole day. The whole day he was getting nasty, vile, disgusting messages. He's like, oh, there's kids. Let's go. Let's do it. And he even said to himself, I'm going to get arrested. I'm going to jail for this. He said it while it was playing around children because he knew. He went into that area knowingly doing that.
What server that was basically, a children's server.
Aris, can I ask you, man, how do you know all this stuff?
We know him. I've known him for like 2.5 years.
So here's some more evidence. They're in a chat, so you're going to see.
Age ain't nothing but a number. Age ain't nothing but a number. Age ain't nothing but a number. Yeah, I said age ain't nothing but a fucking number. What you gonna do about it? What the you gonna do about it?
It's wild. What do you think we use Roblox for? To groom?
So that's Johnny Somali. Johnny Somali is Nigeria here. He's telling on himself.
It's stupid.
We grooming these kids, man, for real.
How old am I? Yes.
So this is other footage. Now this is more recent. This is from when he was in Israel, right? So look at what he. Once again, I played this part before, but listen to his attitude about this.
How old are you?
Yes.
20.
You're right. Yeah.
That's fine. I'm too young for you, I guess.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
I take both of them. I got one.
She says she's 16 and he is 23. So once again, a clear legal line there.
I got wife number 1 and wife number 2. I'm like P. Diddy. I'm like Epstein. I'm like R. Kelly. I don't care. For her, look at the pointer right here. For her, I go to prison. Age ain't nothing but a number, but a dime ain't nothing but a thing.
So once again, this is RKI. This is Ramsey Khalid Ismail. He's got a history of this. And all this Discord stuff, it ain't nothing compared to the charges of the child harassment charges, right? The child harassment charges, and the related punishment with that, which is, of course, 10 years in jail just for that charge. That's one charge. 10 years in jail if he gets hit with that, up to. That's a maximum. Judge can choose less or more, whatever. But that is the most serious charge against him. And I think everything else is a distraction from the fact that needs to be pushed. That needs to be the prosecution needs to take that charge very, very seriously, because that is the silver bullet, beyond all bullets, that in terms of the legal charges against him, that will just capstone that and really tell the judge this person has to do some time. It's not just Minor Crimes Act. It's not just obstruction of business. It's not even just deepfakes. It's, you're harassing children knowingly. This is a malicious thing. This is not an accidental thing. You went in there to that environment knowing those things would happen. So that's what I want to keep the focus on. I think a lot of the other stuff is just noise. People, whether or not there's a new Discord or an old Discord, whatever it is, if it's Johnny Somali's fans, it's going to be just as stupid and degenerate no matter what. It doesn't really matter. I will also give a shout out to this creator as well, because she also got a really good photo of a courtroom that looks like Johnny's. This is not Johnny's exact courtroom, but it looks almost exactly like Johnny's courtroom. So if you guys are curious what Johnny's courtroom looks like in reality, this is actually one of the best photos I've seen. The judge sits up here in the center. The prosecutor sits at the left table on the left here. The interpreter sits in the middle, and this is where Johnny accidentally tried to sit down, and that wasn't his seat. This is where the court reporters sit in the middle, and then the defense and their attorney sits here on these 4 chairs in the front. And then the audience sits here in these chairs that look like school chairs. There are only about 16, 18 chairs in the room, so it's a very small room. I was sitting on the right side when I came in, and when they walk in right in front of you, right down the middle, right through this little gate. This is a gate here. So they just come on up and in. So very good photo there of a Korean courtroom. So a big shout out on that one as well. Let me get some Schubert chats, and then we're going to talk about the death of Johnny Somali. Species 316 for 20 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Michael Rua says, you want me to go Super Saiyan? I always love Super Saiyans. So, so go at it. Also, Eagle, my clipper and a very based bro, says, you think they'll be adding laws to stop IRL streams? Yes. Korea is already adding a law for the statue, but I think they will be changing the laws in general. In fact, the Philippines, shout out to the Philippines, has said they are going to try to make their cyber crime laws more strict to cover more nuisance streamers. Michael Muddragon for 20 says, how about another author recommendation? Sure. Larry Correa has written in various genres, and it's always good. It's like reading good action movies, including a whole fantasy series started and finished since Martin's last GOT book. Oof. George is never finishing those books. Let's all accept that as real humans. Super Korean says, did you hear about the nuisance streamer who went from the Philippines to China and disappeared after his first stream there? Yes, that was Big Dog Strategies, I believe. Also, to whoever tried to tell me RKI wasn't a chomo months ago, what you got to say now? Yeah, I think somebody told me to cover that guy, but he disappeared. So how am I going to cover him? Iowan Lawman for 15 Malaysian ringgit says, hypothetically, if RKI or Vitali got Gonzalo Lira / Otto Warmbeard, what do you think nuisance streaming would be stopped permanently in Asia? They won't. Remember, Gonzalo Lira happened in a war zone in the Ukraine. That's Coach Red Pill, Gonzalo Lira. And Otto Warmbeard happened in North Korea, not South. I do not think he's getting Otto Warmbeard in South Korea. But that would definitely cause people to think twice. Dirty Fucks Dangles for 2 says, tourney weekend, wish me luck. Beautiful BLMs, good luck. Repton says, meet the spy, TF2. Oh, that's Team Fortress is great. Michael Rua says, that aside, from the part that Ramsey isn't exactly making friends. No, he's only making enemies. And the biggest thing for Ramsey right now is, and this is why I tell people, his case is different than everybody else. At this point in the trial, he should be on his knees. And not what you're thinking, okay? I know what you're thinking. He should be on his knees apologizing. Because this is the point at which you confess your sins. You say, I admit I did all of this. I was so wrong, and I will never do it again, and I will change my ways. He has not only not done that, he has tripled down on the I didn't do that story, despite the fact that he's pled guilty, which it makes completely no sense that he has pled guilty to not all the charges yet, but at least half of them. He's pled guilty, but he still hasn't said even, I admitted, I'm sorry, I regret it. He's still on this, no, I don't regret it. I'll do it again. I'm going to come back and do more. I'm not going to stop. It's kind of crazy. L Eagle, disciple of Wah, says, side note, I appreciate new clips, but I don't want to get jump scared by RK's ugly face. I mean, I want to punch my screen, man. I'm sorry. I know some of them are kind of bold. QB for 10 says, RK is going to find out the universal fact that all prisons worldwide, the inmates do not like sex offenders, even less chomos. I think the situation with the children charges, if he gets that one, he needs to be a little bit afraid. even with the deepfakes, that's bad enough as well. Giancarlo for 5 Oz says, thank you. Isn't the Philippines going through an election cycle? Even the president made a reaction video. Yes, I covered that, and my clip of that will be out. It was out actually before this stream, and the undersecretary clip will be out as well very soon. He is really in trouble. The last time you want to come and mess around is during election season, when arresting you gives political capital to the party. I think that was the stupidest thing ever, but Vitali seems to be missing a lot upstairs, much like Somali. HR Hakon for 50 Norwegian krona says, I'm starting to suspect that RK fella isn't a very nice person. No. What gave you that idea? Awuina says, where can RKI go to stick his fingers in the mouth of the judge? Nux said it. Well, if Nux said it, it must be true. Warren A for 5 Canadian says, do you think South Korea will go after Hanky Poo and other RKI accomplices, much like the Philippines are going after Dante and Vitali accomplices? That's a good point. I think Hank has been a little careful, and Hank probably has a little bit more coverage, but it's possible. The biggest thing people want to go after Hank for is he was carrying a baton in public, in a public area, in a mall and in the metro system, which he shouldn't have been doing. So I think that's the thing they could get Hank on. We'll see if they go after him for that. Asian Dragon says Johnny Somali, aka Ramsey Khalid Ismail, is a pervert. Sorry, I had to scream that out loud because seeing him from Andrew live, we all know who he is. And the craziest thing is he is the first person to try to accuse other people of that, which is why I don't pay attention to anything these guys say, because they're always yelling and screaming at each other and calling other people names. But when the truth comes out and their history comes out, it's them that are committing the crimes and the perversions. Mercenary X21 for 5 says we need to punish Johnny by dropping the Neil the 500 elephant seal. There's a 500-pound elephant seal. Okay, I need to look this up. Neil, the 500 lab elephant seal. Okay, need to drop him on RKI. The seal likes humans, but hates aggressive people. Oh my God, Neil the seal is huge. Is huge. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Neil the seal. I think that Neil the seal has a body much like Hank's. Neil the seal has a body much like Hank's. I think they're brothers in shape and size. But Neil's way cuter though. Like Neil's kind of cute. Hank has none of the cuteness of Neil. I mean, in fact, I feel like that's defamation against Neil the seal. I feel like Neil the seal has cause to sue you. Alpire Ava for 10 says, I don't mean this with any actual malice, but Johnny Somali really, really needs to be far, far more concerned about with what he's facing. He gets a charge. He's going to be used as fertilizers for cabbage and other things. Letters and numbers for 10 Canadian says, I wonder how much teeth go for on the black market. Hanky Poo could literally be sitting on a fortune. Dash Kimball, welcome as a new member. Sigvaldis for 10 says, think they may incorporate corporal punishment like public lashings and stockades for these nuisance streamers. They want publicity. Let them have it. Enjoy your show, sir. They will not add those punishments. I mean, to be realistic, most countries are removing those punishments, but this is a fun fact. If you go to countries like Singapore or Malaysia, they still do have things like caning, and caning can draw blood. If you ever watch a caning video, in fact, I did that once and my video was immediately demonetized. It is intense. So I am not against that in certain circumstances. I think some people could use a caning in certain circumstances. Could Johnny use a caning? Absolutely. I think that would definitely put the fear of the cabbages in him. But it doesn't exist. And I think the trend globally is to do less physical punishment. That's just the trend. And I'm just stating facts. But there's cases in which I think it's helpful. Rayobi for 10 says, Mr. Legal Mindset, we know that Ramsey is kneeling backwards towards Hank ever since Johnny was hit with the travel ban and lost his cake account. All he has is Hank being Vox Akima. See, Hank has been his sugar daddy. And the time of that is running out because the cost of a lawyer that will show up at every trial is surmounting. And he doesn't have that money. He just simply does not have that money. We're going to get two more and we're going to go. Germ70 for 5 says, Johnny Somali should have just played Smash Bros. Instead, so that the community would have defended him instead of getting constantly arrested. I agree. And last, Lin Win for 5 says, did the elderly man ever report Ramsey when he said, run your pockets? That's a threat. Someone needs to get in contact with that man. No, not specifically, but it might have been included as part of a broader consideration when they are charging him with other things like the Minor Crimes Act, etc. Lastly, Peter Park gave 20 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Now let's talk about death threats, shall we? So rumors were flying about Johnny Somali being dead, and that came from this kind of little stream excerpt. We'll play it here about Johnny allegedly wanting to claim he is dead. This is like the new insanity plea. So let's play this.
You should fake your death, bro. Johnny Somali gets beheaded by Korean mob.
Yeah, I was faking my death to go viral. To Neon did that a couple times.
Yeah, he has a career now, bro.
So what do? Go to the hospital and like lay in the bed with it. That's a good one.
So I think just start making fake content now. Stop doing real shit. I just went.
No,
You already know my name.
mix it, bro. Mix it.
Mix
Like,
it up.
do the
Mix
real,
it up.
do real and do fake. But you got the reputation of doing a lot of real
The problem
stuff.
is I never did anything. I never did anything like scripted yet.
That's a lie.
So doing that will fucking go
ridiculous.
because the YouTubers are gonna report on it. That's what's good. They're gonna look stupid. They're giving me the free publicity.
Yes, Johnny. Yes, Johnny. We're all gonna totally believe that you killed yourself or you're dead. That's something that totally all of us 100% are going to just buy immediately. We're all just going to be like, Johnny is dead, and we're all going to buy it, right? We're all going to believe that 100%, right?
Oh hell no. Oh hell no.
No. Zero people will believe that at all ever. Although there was something funny that happened after this. I'll let the clip finish playing.
You just gotta exaggerate the story as much as you can. Like, yeah, you're hated by all the Koreans, and now you should fake that. Oh, you got beheaded by the Korean mob, and then everyone's gonna be happy and all this other shit. And then when they find out you're alive, they're gonna lose their shit. They're like, fuck.
How can I fake my death?
Yeah. So that was a deleted video, but right after that, there was a pretty hilarious update to the Johnny Somali wiki, which somebody tried to run here. This was posted by Dr. Strangelove over here on X. You've got the Johnny Somali wiki here, born in Phoenix, and then somebody updated it to died 14th April 2025 in a Korean detention center in Seoul, South Korea. It's now been, by the way, this has been removed. But that said, obviously, while this is a little bit, while it is a giggle situation that somebody actually updated this, and then added in cause of death, decapitation. That, of course, is completely inaccurate and not true. And, of course, he's not even in a Korean detention center. The only Korean detention center he's in is Hank's bedroom. So if the Korean detention center is Hank's bedroom, then yes. And if death is losing all of his dignity, then yes, that actually did happen. That actually has happened. So yeah, good stuff there. Doug Diaz also dropping another 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you, Doug. Very base supporter, very base long-time supporter of the channel. Rigo for 10. What's up, brother? Says, call me R. Kelly because I'm showering you with some new gold. Sorry, can't stick around. Working a new job site and can't watch all the work. That's all good. Good to see you. Best luck with work. And thank you for stopping by and sending some love and spreading some gold. Appreciate you, brother. Captain Obvious. It's obviously $9.99, says RKI becomes the cabbage merchant. And does that mean we will soon have Avatar to restore balance to the world? Because we definitely will need them now more than ever. Well, we do need balance. And I've been happy to see a lot of good content out there. And I look forward to people spreading good content like my boy Eric over there in the Philippines, who's the one who confronted Vitaly. And he's out there creating good content, giving back. He got a real big donation. He wants to go help out the locals over there. And that is absolutely beautiful. I love to see it. Also, I had a lot of people coming out who were visiting Korea, and you've been asking me what to leave at the statues or what type of flowers or where you should leave them. I'm happy to help you with that. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for leaving the flowers. Thank you for going there and paying your respects to Korea. If you are a respectful tourist, you are always welcome. And the Korean people, the Japanese people, the Filipinos will love you. They will love you as long as you are respectful. Samui Shiba says, born Sept 26. He's a disgrace to the Libras everywhere. Michael Rua says, Ramsey is too much of a clout chaser to Minecraft himself. Yes, he has too much of an ego. The Red Zeno says, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to escape on a boat. To where, good sir, ma'am? Good ma'am, sir. To Philippines. Where would he go? North Korea? You know what they do to any boat that comes in, no matter what flag it's flying? If it is not a North Korean boat, it is sunk. China? Yeah, good luck with that. Have you seen what the Chinese Coast Guard is doing right now? How about Japan? Oh, wait, he's banned from there. Where is he going to go? Silbury for 5 says, yes, caning, the punishment where they stop and wait for your back to heal before they continue. Exactly. If they draw blood, they wait for you to heal and they keep going. James Beeching for 5 says, RKI would love to be caned. Spank me. I've been a very naughty boy. Marabou Stork Nightmare. Sorry, Andrew. A typo. I don't think that was a typo. Asian Dragon says, faking your own death will be illegal. On what crime would that be? No, first of all, he wouldn't get away with it. Koreans are not going to think because he's laying still in bed that he's dead, right? They have, advanced technology. In fact, Korea is a great place to visit for medical tourism. If you need to get an operation, if you need to get a serious surgery, you might want to consider Korea. They've got top of the line medical technology. I find that their hospitals are much cleaner and more efficient than the United States. Their doctors are usually all trained in top world universities, not just Korean universities, but American universities as well. I would highly recommend that. You can save a lot. The cost of the plane ticket is often well worth it for some serious work. HR Hakon says for 50 Norwegian krona. Aproporos, Johnny talking about faking his death. Did anyone catch Satan's press conference where he declared that Jesus is dead? This is terrible. I've never even heard of that. Ryobi said for 5, decapitation. No, RKI is dying of decabification. He needs more cabbage in his life. The fields are calling and waiting for him. Colonel Screamo says, book Somali and throw away the flipping key. We're trying. And Jim Blade says, dying in Hank's bedroom probably means back shots. Castman says, I'm calling you Beagle Mindset from now on. What is that a reference to? Neo-Scener Stephen Sean says, what happens if RKI is able to poison the cabbages? He would definitely go to jail, because he would get a longer sentence for that. Xylee says, RK is so cooked, he's charcoal. Quantum says, is he facing guaranteed time or could he get off? RKI can still get off technically. It's possible that the judge could give him a suspended sentence and could let him go. The likelihood of that is very low. But I'm honest. I've always been honest on this channel. I've never been somebody like these other clickbait channels that tell you he's 100% guaranteed 50 years in jail. That's not true. Now, the maximum amount of time he could face is now very large. He can now face, with all the charges stacked against him, it's possible he could face a maximum of 30 years in jail or 30.5 years in jail. But do I think he's going to get the maximum? No, I do not. I do not think they're going to give him the absolute maximum time in jail. I don't. However, do I think he's going to get some jail time? Yes. Korea is a wide range here, and it's very difficult to say, especially now, especially when, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know what's going to happen in the next month. And we have to pay close attention to what happens in the court filings, which, once again, I give you up to date as soon as it drops. You're going to have a video, of course. You're going to have a post on X, probably a community tab post on YouTube that gives you every single filing in the RKI case, because they're all merged into one. So now we know everything that goes on with all of these charges, because you're all in one case, and we've got all of that information for you guys here. Mr. Melancholy says the female police officers would send him to Jesus. Bald Chicken says charge is nothing but a number. It's more than that. And at this point, once again, the seriousness of the charges cumulatively is what is going to go towards sentencing. And when the prosecutor gives a recommendation in this case, they're going to give a recommendation that is including all of the time they think he should serve. So they're not going to say, we think he should serve 5 years on charge 1 and 2 years on charge 2 and 1 year on charge 3. They're going to say, we recommend you sentence him to 10 years or 15 years. And then the judge can either accept that recommendation or do whatever they want. The judge could give more time or less time. It's up to the judge. There's no jury. And remember, he's already disrespected the judge. Asian Dragon says, but if it did happen, Andrew, what crime would there be? Like lying to insurance to get fast money is always illegal. I haven't looked into that, and it's Korea, so I'd have to do some research, but it would certainly be a crime. King Lee just said, RKI face down, A up, oiled and lubed, and kneeling. For the caning? Shori says, how's RKI's second hearing? It hasn't happened yet. It is happening on May 16th. So stay tuned. In May, we will know, and I will give you live updates. I will not be saying whether or not I'm going to any of the hearings, just because of shenanigans that can happen. And also beyond that, because I want to surprise, and mostly because I want to surprise Hanky Poo and Johnny Somali, Ramsey Khalid Ismail, where they don't know if I'm coming or not. And either your boy's there or your boy's not. I do a lot of stuff, and I do have a lot of commitments. So I know I'll be there for certain trials, but it's going to be a long process. At this point, guys, it is very, very realistic that the Johnny Somali trial could go into 2026. Bacon says, how are South Korean prisons relative to the Philippines? They are not as rough as the Philippines, absolutely, but they are not a walk in the park. Alpire Ava says, if we did buy it, we'd all break out in a song. That's true. Arashi says, dignity. What dignity? Ramsey never had any. Well, there was a point at which his content wasn't as malicious. People that knew Ramsey before say his content changed, and it changed for the worst. Ryobi also says, legal mindset. You're not beagle mindset. You're legally minded. Thank you. All right. So in kind of one last thing I want to get to here is in the next month, we need to really pay attention to the trial date, because it is very, very likely that Ramsey's counsel may delay this trial again. I am sensing that these charges, the deepfakes, the child harassment, the obstruction of justice, they are too much for the counsel to handle and to deal with. And because they're dealing with two different lawyers, one in the East, one in the West, and trying to see who's going to handle this, but at the same time, Johnny has no money, I think this drama may be pushed another month. And when it's pushed another month, that kicks the whole train, the whole series of cases back even longer, which is why I'm saying my money is on this thing going to late 2025 and potentially pushing into 2026. Having this next hearing in May pushed to June may very well happen. So be prepared for that to happen. And I am loving the delay. Korea is his prison. He is losing money. He is going broke. He is having to beg. And beyond that, he is having to stream. He is having to stream just to get enough money to eat, just to get enough money to pay for one consultation with the lawyer. This is working out in the favor of law enforcement because it's giving them more things to use against them. And by the way, we also have the harassment charges that were pressed by Nana, right? Those are being processed. And once again, think about how that looks. He was harassing a girl, a female streamer, female Japanese streamer, stalking, harassing, chasing her around the city on top of all these other charges. So he's going to have a stalking and harassment related charge that could be added in on top of child harassment. This is making him look like a serial harasser, especially with obstruction in the Minor Crimes Act. It's showing the depravity of his criminal spree. Zeno for £5 says he has to be worried at this point, surely, especially with the Lotte charges. That's why he went quiet. So after my streams and after he learned that everything I said was 100% true, he went dark. The timing was on point. There's a reason why he hasn't done a single stream. There's a reason why his Discord is dead until I stream. It's because he knows the charges are real, he knows they're serious, and he's frightened. He is wetting himself in Hank's bed right now because he knows that he is facing very, very serious time here. And he knows that none of this streaming has really been worth it for him. All of this money he makes in text-to-speech, $20 or $30, that's not even food, much less a consult with a lawyer. Super Korean for $5 says RKI is safer going to prison than landing at Sky Harbor, from what I heard through the grapevine. Yeah. Theoden, king of Brohan, says, I spent most of my adult life living in Asia. I want to be welcome when I go back, not hated because of these idiots. Thanks for fighting the good fight. That is why I do this. I am doing this so people can visit in peace, and people like me, expats who live here, can be left in peace. We all want to be here because it's peaceful. It's a high trust society. People are friendly. People are kind. People respect each other. There's a culture of mutual respect. That's what I love about living here. And I hate that these people are coming here and destroying that. They are intent on destroying that. They are intent on bringing the worst aspects of Western culture. And let me be very clear. There are positive aspects of Western culture. There's great, beautiful art, cultural things. There's parts of that we've built in the West, that Western countries have built, that are good, that are genuinely good things that we can share with the world. But being obnoxious and showing off and having to do all these things for clout, that is one of the worst aspects of modern day Western culture. And it is possibly the most degenerate. Ashwin Noor says, maybe Hank is into that. He's into a lot of things. And by his own admission, by his own confession, Wojo for 5 says, fun fact, the head of cabbage has more brains than Somali's head. That's true. That's true. Even the emotional cabbage has more brains.
Emotional cabbage
still has more brains. Ian Fern for 5 says Johnny Somali's consequences will hopefully prevent others from acting similarly, and that's why I'm pushing for maximum consequences on this. Do you think RK watch streams? I don't think. I know. Guys, all of my stream links are posted in their Discord. Every single one. They clip my stuff. I in fact, from what I've heard, I've got a lot of secret fans amongst them because I'm living rent free in RKI's head, Hanky Poo's head. They want to RKI and Hank are trying to issue a warrant for me. They're trying to sue me, right? Unsuccessfully. They absolutely hate me. I absolutely live rent free in their head. He watches every minute of my content, and he secretly loves it because once again, it's content that he could be doing if he wasn't such a prick. Bama for 5 says, have you seen the whitest kids you know skit with Lincoln? I think that'd be great for this. Now you effed up? You have effed up now. I have not seen that. Bad News Badger quoting Dodgeball. A bull move, Cotton. Let's see if it plays out. Let's see if it pays off. Silbury says, if RKI can keep it up through 2025, respect. Yeah, and I would love that. I would love if RKI keeps this up. That would make 2025 the greatest year. It would. It really would. Nurple for 5 says, Johnny Somali is about to be named Kegel Grindset. Max for 5 says, after serving sentences, is it possible countries could deport them to a previous country that wanted to press charges because they left? It is possible, but it hasn't happened. So it is possible that after they serve, they could be extradited to a country where they are wanted. It has not happened. I'm not against that. Bob says, has ABC Pizza reported to police their experience? No, they have not, and they are unlikely to because they're not very cooperative. They're not very cooperative. Hannah for 499 says, an American expat in China seeing this unfolding is crazy. Why would he want to do this? Thank you for the updates. He wants to do this for attention because remember, Hannah, there's a difference between you and me as expats. We're expats. We live here. So if we screw up, it could get our visas terminated. We could be sent home. We would have to go home. And I don't want to go home. I love living here. I love the countries I'm in. I love not just where I'm at right now, Thailand, but I love Japan. I love Korea. I love the Philippines. I don't want to have to leave those countries. And so I do my best to respect the law, to follow the culture, and to respect the people. And I think that's what everybody should be doing. And it's not that hard to do that. It's not like that requires you to be Mother Teresa. You can still have fun. You can still do funny content. You can still tell jokes, but you can't break the law and you cannot harass people and you cannot harass children. There is no country in the world where harassment of children, particularly harassment that is adult or sexual in nature, is appropriate. And all the Vitali defenders, all the Somali defenders, I try to tell them, is there one place, let's use Vitali, where threatening to rob an old woman is okay? Can you name one country where that's okay? I don't know that country. I don't. And I've traveled to over 100 countries. I don't know the country where it's okay to threaten to rob a woman. I don't know the country where it's okay to trespass and break things and to cause a scene. Right? I don't know countries where these things are okay, where it's okay to harass children. It's not something that is just Korean. It's not just Korean sensibilities here. These are universal things and universal principles that are being violated. Ryobi said, RKI did watch Legal Mindset the night before his trial, but he chose to get drunk and late to the trial by an hour and pled guilty to 3 out of 4 charges. So that just shows you when he watches my streams, you know, he is.
You are coping the seething.
He copes, he seethes, and he drinks hard. Mercenary X21 says, can someone draw Johnny scared in the bed with Neil the Seal there? I think that's a challenge for the artists out there. Also, Artemo says you can freely harass in Pakistan. Yes, the totally real country of Pakistan with the ultimate supreme leader, Pippa Pipkin. Okay, guys, on that note, thank you so much for being here. That's what I had for today. It was as a kind of a comprehensive update on Johnny Somali. Obviously, we'll stay tuned. As updates come in, we will get you posted on it. I also want to say very much a special thank you to the folks that gave me those new clips. They're absolutely awesome. I hope you guys have a wonderful Easter weekend. Take a break. Say I love you to your family, to your friends. Be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for the life you're living, and be and know that you are blessed to be in that position, living here in 2025. I am blessed to have all of you guys as my fans, as my supporters, and to help me in this mission against nuisance streamers, which I am committed to till the end, till the conviction of these folks. If you want to support me, you can drop a like on the channel, drop a comment. You can also go over to my Ko-Fi, which I'll pin in the comments as well, and support the coverage of Vitaly, the coverage of Johnny Somali. Thank you guys, and let's all have a happy Easter together while the nuisance streamers are doing nothing more.
You are coping the ceiling. You just can't believe what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping the ceiling. The truth it is all day, and now you are more than you're coping so hard. Coping your ceiling. Coping your ceiling.